A new political party has come out in Ontario called the New Blue Party. It has been created by the Karahalios. I don't know if I pronounced that name correctly, but it's Jim and Belinda Karahalios or Karahalios. Um, and these are individuals who tried to run for the PC party in Ontario in 2018, and I believe, or no, Jim tried to run for the federal leadership of the Conservative Party of Canada, and the Conservative Party said no because they thought he was too controversial. If I remember correctly, I believe that Jim must have said something about some Muslim guy who was working for Arana Nation's campaign. They had a back and forth, and the Conservative Party of Canada said, "You are not going to be our leader. You are not welcome to run. You can take a hike and go to hell." That's what they said. I mean, I don't know the official story, but I do remember thinking that the Conservatives were blowing it out of proportion. I believe that I think that maybe someone in Aaron's campaign was working for some bad organization, and Jim must have pointed it out. I've always said that, look, Islam is not a race; it is a religion, and religions are ideologies. Okay, and I'm going to criticize any ideology I see I want to. I have said it very openly. I'm not a fan of Islam. Why should I be? It's an ideology that I don't support. Now, there are different sects of Islam, some less extreme than others. I don't hate people who are Muslims. I'd not like that. Just like I would hope that somebody who is against the Bible or Christianity would not say that because me as a Christian, you're not going to hate me. I don't hate everybody who is a communist. I don't hate everybody who's a Democrat. I may think you're misguided. I may think you're stuck in your ways, but I'm not going to hate you because I know that the bigger picture is good versus evil. And even Muslims are affected by evil. You know, I've said that all these wars, well, that affects Muslims and everything like that, and we all need to stick together. But I don't support the Islamic ideology, and I'm sure that Jim doesn't either. And they threw him out for it. Now, that's the Conservative Party. This is why they don't win anything, because they can't galvanize their supporters, and they can't galvanize their supporters because they're afraid of their support. They are afraid to galvanize this. They're afraid. They're afraid of the globe. They're probably part of the globalists. And Doug Ford has shown that. There was no way on God's green earth I could ever support Doug Ford again. No way. If this pandemic thing is over, this Chinese virus thing, which I don't see it being, even after it's over, I won't support him. I'm going to send him a message that you don't act that way again. I'll never support the PCs as long as Doug Ford is the premier or the leader. Having said that, we've got this new blue party which wants to run against him. And it's created by Belinda and Jim Karahalios. And I'm going on their website right now. And the first thing I see is help register the new Blue Party of Ontario. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin this website to the top of the comments section so that people can go onto the website and help this party. I would like to interview either Jim or Belinda, but my thing is that I will only support a party that has candidates running in every single constituency. I don't want a party which is only in one or two constituencies because that doesn't mean anything. You have no chance if you... At least the PPC had candidates in every riding in Canada. Now, I had my own reasons for not supporting them because I felt that they were economic globalists when it came to supply management, though I am warming up to them, but that's a federal issue. And I'm not talking about that right now. I'm talking about the provincial things right now. Doug Ford, who I will not support. If the new Blue Party manages to get candidates in every single constituency in every single riding in Ontario. Every single one. Every single one. Or at the very least has enough people, enough candidates in ridings which they could get a majority, then I will support them. I will endorse them. But I don't want to waste my time on a party that's not serious. If you are not serious about yourself, I'm not going to be serious about you. If you are not in it to win it, then I'm not going to waste my time with you. I'll find someone else, libertarians only. And not even saying that I am supporting the Libertarian Party because they have things about them, but they have people in all the ridings, or at least enough ridings for them to do damage. I will not be supporting Doug Ford, and there's no way I would support the Liberals, the NDP, or the Greens. So it just leaves me with these small parties, which what I am hoping for is for them to do well enough to give Doug a minority and have one of these smaller parties hold the balance of power so that Doug is held hostage by freedom fighters, by patriots, by people who want unity, who want individual economic success, not just for the big businesses like Doug Ford, but small businesses as well. Doug Ford, when he says, open for business and jobs and good economy, he's only talking about the big business, Walmart and all that. He don't care about some small business, bro. He don't care about those. He just cares about the big business people who give him big ducats in his party's coffers so that he can get funding. He don't care about small business. And you can tell that just by this Chinese virus thing. He allows Walmart to stay open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But small businesses better close down, and if they don't, they get arrested. That's not right. So Doug Ford is not for the people. I will never support Doug Ford. Never, ever, ever, ever. And he means what he says. You can tell it by his attitude. He's not being scripted. He's not being compromised. He is all in on this. In fact, he's probably even more in on this than Taki Edmak. He loves this. He loves it. He loves the control he thinks he has, even though he himself is a puppet of the globalists. So the New Blue Party needs to have candidates in all of the ridings, or at least a majority of the ridings. So if they do that, I will support them. And you've got a long time before the next Ontario election. I've seen that people all over Canada, they're waking up. They're waking up. I remember the first time that the Hugs Over Mask rally started, and I went to one of their first rallies, and it was only a couple hundred people, which is still a lot for Ontario because the population, and especially for downtown Toronto, to have a couple hundred patriots in downtown Toronto or that area understand what's happening. That's a lot of people in a place like the GTA, which is pretty brainwashed. But those rallies have grown to a couple hundred people to thousands and thousands of people just marching up and down Yonge Street, marching up around Yonge and Dundas Square, marching up and down all over the place. All over. People are waking up. People are waking up. And the West they're woken up as hell. The West, I think if Western Canada were to form its own country, they'd be fine. They'd be fine. They'd swallow up the rest of Canada. I think the rest of Canada would probably end up joining them under their leadership. The capital, what would happen is Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and maybe BC, even though BC is they're kind of weird themselves. Though, we'll talk about BC another time. They've got the NDP and the Liberals, and even though the Liberals in BC they're not left-wing Liberals, but they're still neoliberal, globalist Liberals. They are just as globalist as the federal Liberals. They may not support socially leftist things, but they're still very globalist. They're very, very pro-lockdown and mask and all that stuff. So really, I think the only hope for British Columbia is to bring back the BC Social Credit Party, or at least give the BC Conservatives a fighting chance. But Every Tory, the Tories in this country don't know how to fight. They're too afraid, and that's why they keep losing. They're too afraid to amp up stuff. So that's their problem. But if the West were to separate and have their own country, over time, the rest of Canada, Ontario, Quebec, they'd see how successful the West is and they'd want to join that country. And instead of Ottawa being the capital of Canada, it'd probably be Calgary. And they would join under Western rules and regulations and cultures and way of life and political thinking. That's how it would have to be. But this new blue party of Jim and Belinda, I do feel that I am urging all of my subscribers and fans to register this party. Give them a chance. Give them a chance. Register them. The link to the website is at the top of the comment section and in the description of this video. So I want all of you right now to download a registration form, register this party, give them ammunition, show Doug Ford, that traitor, Doug Ford, that treacherous fool, that we are not playing around anymore. Show him. As I'm speaking, I want people to be clicking on this link right now. Click on it. I'm sure you can have 2 pages open, listen to me at the same time, and be filling out this registration form. I'm sure as hell doing it. We need to show Doug Ford that what he is doing is unacceptable. He thinks that enough people are brainwashed will vote for him in the next election. He thinks that if he acts like a liberal, all the liberals in Ontario will support him in the next election. They won't. I'll tell him that right now. They won't. Because when the election comes, the liberals and the socialists and the Greens will hash out all of the things that they don't like about Doug Ford, and the leftists all over Toronto and all over the place will just not support him. And then he thinks that if they don't support him, well, the conservatives who are mad at him now, they will love him when the election comes because they would have forgotten about how he treated them. He'll probably have a temporary easing up of all the lockdown, and that the conservatives will forget about how he treated them and vote for him. Now that's more likely to happen. I'm not going to do that. First of all, I'm an independent. And that's the reason I'm an independent, because you got people like Doug Ford who say they're conservative. They get in there and then they spit all over us. So I don't want to pledge allegiance to any political party. But it's still likely that a lot of people will, and that's why I'm saying don't. Remember how Doug treated you, because he'll do it again. He will. And my hope is that enough so-called conservatives will never forget what Doug did, and not only will the liberals not support him, but the conservatives won't support him, and he'll lose. Now, what I'm hoping for is a minority, because I don't want the Liberals to get in there or the NDP. I don't think that the New Blue Party or the Libertarians or the Freedom Party or any Trillium Party, they will just get a majority on their first try. But I'm hoping for Doug to get a minority. I won't vote for the PCs, but if he gets a minority and the New Blue Party get enough seats to hold the balance of power, that way, if Doug does any foolishness, they can pull the plug on him. That's what I'm hoping for. So register this party, and if the New Blue Party is serious, they will have people in every single riding. Every riding. And that is how I will know that they are serious about holding Doug accountable and someday running the province. And again, I tell people to stick with them. If they do get people in all the ridings or most of the ridings, stick with them. Don't be impatient. We got to stick together. I mean, even me, I'm willing to give Aaron O'Toole a chance, but if he screws up, I will support the PPC despite my concerns about their view on supply management, because we are entering a very dark period right now. So I've got to lead by example. Aaron O'Toole hasn't been tested yet, so I'll give him a chance. But if he ends up being like another Doug Ford, well, I will get rid of him too. And I will do what I can to get PPC to get enough people to hold him accountable. And if he continues to skirt around like Joe Clark did in 1979, then I'll do what I can to get the PPC in government with the New Blue Party. I will do what I can. We cannot play games right now. Too much is at stake. 2020 has shown me this. After 2020, we are either going to have destroyed the New World Order for once and for all, or they will destroy us. And if they destroy us, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. We won't have an opportunity to fight for probably another 100 years. So, that's what I've got to say on this whole thing. And this is the Arana Nation.